What is up, Team Misfit coaches? The Open is here. Hunter and Sherb today talking to you a few tips to make this workout go better for your members. We're going to break it down into 4 parts. One for each one of the movements, and then one overall strategy piece here to help make this easier on your athletes, because what's great about the Open is it's a time of year where athletes who might have been training and have been scaled for a lot of workouts can finally make that big leap forward into the RX category. So we're going to start first with the wall walks. First things first, when you're working with athletes on wall walks, number one objective is to get them to understand how many steps in and how many steps out is going to be best for them. Your best athletes will probably work with 4 steps in and 3 steps out and look a lot like this. Hunter, would you mind go ahead and kind of going through just one kind of slow and controlled set? So again, he's going to dial in 4 steps in, 3 steps out. Go ahead, Hunter. So 4 steps in, 3 steps out. And the biggest thing that's going to help him make sure he can do that is getting to the pike position every single time. So hands and knees and then butt to the sky so that his rib cage isn't running into the wall. So if he needs to take more steps, he can. But again, the biggest thing here is knowing how many steps in and how many steps out without losing that pike position. Go ahead and relax there, Hunter. Now, in addition to knowing how many steps in and how many steps out, you don't want to be frantic in this movement. From start to finish, your pace should look the same. How you do your first wall walk should be very similar to how you do your very last wall walk. That consistency is going to be the number one factor when it comes time to be moving consistently in this workout. Step 2, dumbbell snatch. We want to make sure that when athletes are approaching to use a dumbbell that's a little heavier than what they're used to, is they understand they have to use their hips to move that dumbbell rather than just hinging at the waist. Can you show a bad setup, Hunter, with a butt high? We want to get away from this position at all costs. Instead, knees drive out, hips low, chest up. So as Hunter goes and stands, he can throw his hips open to make sure that his arms aren't doing all the work. So Hunter, could you cycle through 4 good reps? And let's say maybe it's a little heavy, you can do a power snatch too. Good, you can get underneath it. Go ahead and relax. Now, when it comes to pacing this movement, it is perfectly acceptable for an athlete to do 6 and 6 or 8 and 4, but breaking it up into 2 sets may allow them to play more consistently from start to finish. Now, moving on to the third movement, the box jump over. The biggest goal here is eliminating extra unnecessary steps. What we don't want to see an athlete do, Hunter, could you do a bad one when you take a couple steps away? So he jumps up, steps down, takes a couple steps away, jumps back up. Again, eliminating this extra noise in between reps is going to be super beneficial when it comes time to staying consistent for the entire workout. So what we'd rather see instead is Hunter jumps up. Go ahead and jump up, Hunter. So he steps down, and when he steps down, he's already kind of turning himself back towards the box for his next rep. Again, he can control with how fast his cadence is by how quickly he stands off the box or steps down from the box. But the biggest thing here is we want to eliminate those extra steps back and forth. Now, last but not least, strategy in this workout. Most of your athletes that can manage the 50-pound or 35-pound dumbbell will be able to do this workout RX, but the trap here today is their pace. A lot of athletes are going to come out screaming out of the gates, knock out like a 105, 110, or 115 round, and their last round is going to be 215 or 230. We want to avoid that at all costs. So I strongly recommend when you are warming athletes up and having them practice this ahead of the go time, is that you have them practice 1, 2, or maybe even 3 rounds before you go to really dial in that pace. If an athlete gets done that first round, looks at the clock and it says a 105, ask them seriously, do you think you can hold that for another 13 minutes and 55 seconds? The answer is no. So again, allowing athletes to practice a couple of practice rounds ahead of the workout is to give them a good idea of how this is going to feel as they transition from movement to movement and give them better success to be consistent from start to finish. So again, focus on those 4 things, coaches, and you're going to set athletes up to have the best 22.1 experience they can have. Give it a shot, and we'll see you all in the next one.